Hello, viewers at home, at work, at play. Welcome to our series on thriving during this trying times. We appreciate your following us. We appreciate your comments, your compliments. We encourage your questions, your thoughts. So as you see what we're doing, we encourage you to please ask questions. Let us know what topics you would like to see in this series, because it's all about you. It's not just for us, it's for you to also be inspired to take action and to be able to lead through this phase. We've covered several topics for the past week and a half or so. We started with so many topics that are thought-provoking. What is in your hands in this moment? Your energy and mindset. And we've also invited speakers to help us understand how they are coping with COVID-19. We've invited professionals, we've invited millennials, baby boomers. We've had varieties of people from different age groups to be able to say, you know what, tell us, how are you coping at such a time as this? We know it's not a regular, everyday experience, and we've had such series. So if you're just joining us for the first time, I encourage you to please go back to our various series under the Remy Speaks Facebook page. If you want to be a member of our group, you can request an invite. We'll send it to you. This way you could go and listen to some of the episodes that you might have missed, and most importantly, that you also jot your questions down, because your questions are what other people are probably thinking about. So if for whatever reason, after you watch the episodes and you have questions, we encourage you to please document the questions so that we also can be able to respond and have shows that will cover your questions, because we're all in this together and we're all playing different roles at this time, at such a time as this. The topic this evening is very simple. It's leading in crisis, leadership in crisis. That's what we're going to be talking about. This is a time of crisis, and one of my great mentors once said, everything rises and falls with leadership. And this is John Maxwell, and it's so very true, especially now than ever. And you might be hearing my voice and thinking, I'm not leading in anything right now. Even if you're working for someone, you're still leading. Right now, we're all in our homes. We're not under any leader that is watching you every minute. So you have to self-lead yourself. It starts by being able to get up in the morning and wake up and say, you know, this is my routine. So leadership is for all of us right now. But during this time of crisis, how do we lead during this crisis? Because everybody is going through various emotions and going through various phases. So as a leader, you are the constant figure. You have to remain constant and let people know that this too shall pass. At the same time, keep the focus of your team on point so they know that there is a need to. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate you. So as a leader, all of us are leaders right now because we're self-leading. And because we're self-leading in this time of crisis that we didn't budget for, we didn't ask for it, but it's here. That's what leaders do. And like I said, John Maxwell said, everything rises and falls with leadership. And that is so true. So if you self-lead, if you're a leader, this is a good time for you to test your leadership, because leadership starts with self. So with this crisis that we're all quarantined at home and restricted, life is still going on. People are still doing business. Work is still going on. So as a leader who finds yourself in the space, and you're probably leading different people now with different emotions, different questions, different distractions right now. But hey, you got to get them refocused. You got to get them energized. Encourage them to know that this is what it is and that we are all going to make it through. So it starts with you being able to prepare. What is the preparedness? I mean, how do you, as a leader, know that you can truly influence things if you don't do it? This is a trying time for all of us. And we know that we are going to survive this phase. While we're in the process, we need to show our leadership skills. We need to help other people also self-lead, because they're not under your roof every day. So you need to help them to self-lead so that they know that work is still continuous. Things are going to get better. We're going to get a cure for coronavirus. While we're waiting for the cure, we're not the ones curing it. We're not the medical people. The medical people are taking care of their end, but let us focus on our end. So at the end of the day, when we are let loose again, when we are let loose to go and do what we like to do, we won't necessarily be scrambling around. We will have a game plan of what needs to be done. Again, leaders act deliberately, and they act quickly and effectively, because it's so important to be effective. And it's got to be deliberate, because we're leading right now in a chaos, in a setting whereby things are changing every minute. The 1 minute they say, oh, you're going back to work. Telework ends at the end of the month. 1 minute is telework ends by the end of this month. So everything is changing per minute, per second. So because everything is changing per minute, per second, so as a leader, you've got to be constant. You are the constant rock right now for your subordinates or your co-workers or your counterpart. You are. So you have to be able to communicate effectively and quickly, so that when things have to change and you need to communicate it to others who need to embrace the change, you come with a conviction that you believe in what you're communicating. And I know sometimes it's tough, because we're thinking, oh, I'm a leader. I told you one thing yesterday, now I have to tell you another thing. Let people know right now, there's a lot of things that are changing. There are a lot of moving parts right now. So that 1 minute you're hearing one news, the next you're hearing another. But all in all, what matters the most is your ability to know that as a leader, you have to catch the vision of what's happening with your company right now. This is COVID-19. Economy will be challenged. We all know what's coming. We all know what's here. But we cannot act like someone that's hopeless. We have to act with all the hope. And how do we act with hope in a face of whereby we ourselves sometimes are jittering that what's really going on? By showing up and being consistent and letting people understand that you understand that this is a trying time. Don't discount anybody's emotions. Everybody's emotions need to be validated, because we all handle crisis differently. You as a leader might have mastered it. And if you haven't, you need to, because other people are watching. Other people are going to learn how to respond every day. They want to keep their jobs. They want to be part of the company, but they got to do the work, because some work is still going on, even teleworking. Not everything has shut down. So you as a leader, even for those who are temporarily shut down, you need to be engaging your associate, your team, so they know that you're thinking about them. Check up on them. How are they doing? If they have something to say to you, listen to them. Show that emotional intelligence. Connect with them emotionally, so that they won't just think that all you care about is work. Because right now everybody is thinking differently. Use the model of the U.S. Army, or most armies do that. And that model is simply be, know, and do. Who are you? The B is about knowing who you are at this point. Who are you? You have to know who you are, and let other people understand that this is the time to let them know who they are. And when you know who you are, then you want to be able to do the next word, which is the know. What skills do you have? What skills do you know right now that you know that in your sleep you can make things happen? What are those skills? Or what are those skills that you need to be in the know? That is so important. That's what is going to be the test of leadership right now. In addition to the crisis that you and I can control, what is going to make a very decisive action is our ability to lead with precision, to be able to identify head on what is needed, what is not needed, what skills do we have right now. A lot of people are teleworking. Do we need to have some technology competency training so that people are not stressing, trying to maneuver around on the computer because they've never done it before? That could be done remotely. Thank God for Zoom. Thank God for so many other systems out there. So you as a leader need to understand what are those things that you need to make and give and provide for your team so that their skills can be enhanced. So when you now enhance their skills, you're taking their focus from that, oh, I don't know how to do this, I'm not sure, I've never done it before. You're demystifying that in a nice way. You're offering, you're not pointing fingers and say, oh, Remy, you don't know the computer. All you know how to do is just check your email. We need beyond email right now. We need something bigger. You're not going like that. That's not what you're doing. You're literally letting people know, I understand. I understand situations are changing. We value that you can even telework. These are the added tools and skills that we need to help you do your job better. How sweet is that? People would embrace that. If you come at them like that and they know that that work has to be continuous and you are part of the work. So right there, we need to have your tools, your skills sharpened. And you will embrace that. And they give you the provision. It's not costing you anything. You're already in the confines of your home. So you literally can embrace such a request by a supervisor, which will make you more dependable and reliable on there. And then you also, the U.S. Army will say do. We say be, no, do. The do part is timely actions. You have to. Thanks for joining, everyone. Thank you so much for joining from everywhere. We appreciate you. You inspire us when we see you live. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. So the doing is the action part. What actions are you taking? It could be little stuff, but be consistent. When you're consistent with that action, you will see that you will enhance your team to be stronger and better. You will enhance your team to be welcome. You are going to be finding out that you're enhancing your team. Even though they're remote, guess what? You were very, very confident about them. Say, you know what? You need to touch up your skills. You're not saying, oh, you don't know what to do. You say, because you're going to have to work from home now, maybe these are some things you can take. Guess what? It's enhancing and strengthening all of us. And the timely actions are important. Do the little stuff and do it consistently. You don't have to solve the whole world's problem as a leader. You don't have to solve the whole problem of your company either. But if you leverage your team very well and you let your team know you care, their care will kick in. If you let them know you care and you bring your emotional intelligence into play, people will jump before you even say jump. They want to know that you care about them before they worry about what you care about. So in this case, as a leader, be honest. Honesty is the key. I think once I told a story in another setting about my experience in corporate America and where the word emotional intelligence was birthed in my spirit. I had a boss who, as a young professional in my early 20s, excited about life, trying to rise up corporate America, and still did it. I had a manager who stood out, who was always thinking I can do more. But then I was too young to understand that that's what he believed. I thought maybe he was just picking on me. And then one day he said to me, Tom Sisto, he said, Remy, emotionally, you need to read a book on emotional intelligence. And I'm thinking, did I didn't cry in this meeting. I didn't show any emotion. So I thought it was rude for him to say that. I didn't say that anything. I was just wondering, why would he recommend, when I heard emotional intelligence, immediately I thought it was negative. But, curious Remy, I said, okay, sure. What's the name of, who is the author? Then he said, Daniel Goleman. I thought he said Coleman. So I could never find the book. And then I came back the next day and I said, oh, Tom, I could not find the book you told me to find. And I said, oh, you mean Daniel Coleman, right? No, he said, no, it's Goleman. He said, Remy, I'll get it for you. So I read the book. It's my next book to my Bible, because if you are able to read the series on emotional intelligence, it would help you to prevent a lot of friction, a lot of frights. You are able to manage other people's emotion, not just yours. So that was where that word was birthed in my spirit. And it's as simple as us now with the crisis that we're managing as leaders. If somebody called and said, oh, I'm not feeling well on Friday, the next time you talk to them on Monday, cut the demands and you say, how are you feeling today? You're not the doctor. They don't expect you to give them medication. But if you even bring it back to connect, or if they say the kid is sick, and you connect back on that level, trust me, you've won their heart. That's all anybody needed to do when I was in corporate America, to win my heart. When you connect back to maybe my daughter or child is sick or something personal that I've said to you, and you connect back, that makes me feel like, oh, this person cares beyond just the work that I'm doing. So as leaders right now, more than ever, we have to make sure that we let our subordinates, our contacts, our affiliates know that we care. So honesty is very key. Be real. If you've said something before and there's a need to change it, say the reason why. You're not the one. There's so many moving pieces all over the world right now that what you said yesterday might be null and void today because everything is moving. But be honest and let them know there's still some moving pieces. You ask for the indulgence, blah, blah, blah. So when those things come, it's expected and it's embraced. They will even start feeling sorry for you and thinking, oh my goodness, how is this person dealing with this? You know, that's what leaders do. Be emotionally intelligent. We already talked about that, because then you can worry about managing other people's emotions. So it's not just about you, yourself, and I, and how you're feeling and how people need to respect your feeling. People are human. You are human. You don't have two heads. You could be the leader or the one with the money, but you're just a human being. So until you recognize that people are human beings like you, you will never get a supportive team that you need. But if you bring your emotional intelligence, a gift out, that will be something that will save you a lot of headache. It will save you from being away from a lot of the office politics that exists that you don't need. We'll talk about that another day. Know the situation. What situation is there? In process, that is positive. Oh, thank you. Positive results. Thanks for your comments. I appreciate it. Know the situation. What situation are we now? We know what time it is right now, everybody. It's COVID-19. Can we celebrate? Maybe not. Do we have to be doom and gloomy? No, because we can't control it. We're told quarantine, stay home, stay safe. Find out, how do we make where we are comfortable enough that we're not doom and gloom? Because nobody can make you happy. You've got to figure out how to create that happiness so that your situation that you're in as a leader, once you make it embracive and fun, other people would rub off of that because it's contagious. But if you walk around with like you're carrying the whole world's problem on your head, it's going to translate to how you relate to your subordinates, and they won't like that when you come across with deadlines. So remember that. Motivate yourself. Simple. Find ways to motivate yourself. There's got to be something you love to do. There must be people that you love to talk to that give you that energy, that just pack it up and you keep going on and on and on. Find what motivates. It could be your family, your children, your spouse, whoever, or your co-worker, or something online that gives you that motivation. Go and find some online speakers, the Les Browns of this world. My mentor, Les Brown, I love him to death. Go find Les Brown, listen to some of his tape. By the time you're done, trust me, you will want to turn over a new leaf. Understanding the feelings of others. We said that. If I put myself in a position to understand how you're feeling, even though I might not understand every detail of your feeling, but if I express that feeling that I care and I hear you, you don't expect me to solve that problem. I probably don't have the solution in my hands. But if I give you that empathetic, that mind of concern and care, you are going to loosen up. I know that at least somebody is listening to me. All you want might just be somebody to listen to you. And sometimes we are not active listeners. When somebody is talking to us, we're wandering around and our eyes is all over. That's disrespectful. Give them undivided attention, and that's all it might need. And that could win you an employee for life that will be loyal to the core. Manage the emotions of others. We've said it. You manage the emotions of others, validate their emotions, and offer whatever you can do. Whatever you can do, let them know why you cannot do it, and give them a scenario, or maybe offer them options that they can do. Just do the best you can do and show empathy. You always have to show empathy. That's how we're all human first. Before the boss title, before the subordinate title, always remember that people are human beings first. And if you remember that, and that you remember that you want to treat people the way you want to be treated, then it will guide your action to everybody, from people who network from bottom up. You want to make sure that everybody is taken care of and respected in their own way. I remember growing up, my mother would always say, when someone is already on the top, that all they can do is fall. But when you're at the bottom, you're trying to get up and get up. But then she would go further and say, Remy, remember, when you're on the top, take care of people before you get on the top. And peradventure, there's ever going to be a fall in the future. Everybody will rise and fall. This is human life. That when you're coming, it will be like, I have to use my hand gesture, that it will be like a Humpty Dumpty. They will be rocking you. You won't necessarily have a Humpty Dumpty fall, but they will be rocking you, because when this person hears, oh, is Remy this? Oh, they want to try to see how to save that situation. Then they go here, they want to save that situation. So it will be a rocking. It won't be a Humpty Dumpty fall. So as leaders, let's remember that even though we're on the top right now of our games, people are subordinates, they're teammates. We need them. We all need each other. So be mindful that we care for them, so they know we truly care, so they can do more for everyone. What do you need to know? The being is being strategic. What strategies do we need to put in place right now? And your strategy will be different than mine, because we're all in different walks of life. But one thing for sure, you would agree with me that there's got to be a strategic plan. There has to be a strategy that you put in place right now, especially now that you're really your own boss morning, night, and day. You wake up, you can decide when you wake up. And what you're going to do is not just good enough to wake up aimlessly. You have to know, what do you plan to do for the day, so that your day is just as full, as busy as if you were punching in somewhere, because you're disciplining yourself. And it will tell, if you do that, then you'll feel fulfilled, and then you won't be bored. You won't be in this agony and wondering and waiting. You will be busy, engaged, doing what you need to do. Set a new vision. If the vision you had before, you think that maybe there are things that has been going in your head that you want to really try, set a new vision. See if you can work it out. Put it down and see if you can work it out. Have this principle. Whatever vision you set, anything you do, make people first. If you have any principle in life, it better be people first. What do people want to see? What do they want to learn? What do they want to know? Don't let it be about you, because nobody cares about anybody's title right now. Everybody's caring about self. So a good leader would make sure that they strategize and put people first. Set a routine for the crisis. Every day is different. Sometimes people are remotely working. They might have technology problems. They might have some questions that you're not right there. Let's have an efficient helpline, help desk, where people can call and the number works. So even though you're not there physically, they have a resource that's dependable. You make sure the back end is superb and is working and functional, so that your associates who are teleworking or who are working from home, from wherever they are working, can have a resource that they won't feel like, oh, if I was in the office, I would have been able to do this. Let them have a resource. Let them also know, more than ever, this is the time to play that teamwork game. Because there's some employees, your co-workers, that you probably can ask questions of. This is the time for everybody to step up in that leadership role. If you can help your co-worker get over a little situation that gets them stuck, it might not take you 1 minute. Do it. Be helpful. People would remember. I never forget people who make my life easy, because with computers sometimes you can get stuck on something and all you need might be right in your face. But if you don't know, you don't know. If you have somebody who just helps you to get over that hump. That would have saved you over hours. Over this weekend, I also double up as a professor. So over this weekend, I was working on setting my exams online. Never done it before, never done any of that. Fortunately, I got a helpline associate who was quite helpful. Oh my God, this person made it so easy for me. I was able to get everything done. On a good day, I would have taken so many hours. And I thought on Sunday, Easter Sunday, I would be busy trying to figure out. That Saturday, this lady squared me out big time, and it was simple. By the time she walked me through it, and I learned what she wanted me to do, it was not as hard. But it took somebody who understood that I was in need, and she was calm to help me to get through it. So if you're in a position to help someone, don't make them feel stupid. We all have areas of strength. And if someone is struggling in an area, this is the time to show up. And as leaders, more than ever, find those people on your team who are those helper bees. Those helper bees. Find a way to engage them and kind of pat them on the back a little. Make them know that, okay, you appreciate what they are doing. And if you're being helped, let your boss know so they can also pat that person on the back. All people want is gratitude. They just want a little appreciation when they've done something so somebody knows. That's all. They don't want anything more than that. What resources do you need? You too, as a leader, you have resources you need. You need to let whoever needs to know. Sometimes it's not just your boss that needs to know. It's also your team. Welcome. It's your team that needs to know, because your team also needs some information. They have some skills, they have some tools that they can use to help you as the boss. So when you need resources, don't always think that you have to look up. Sometimes you can look down at your teammates who are your associate. They might be one step down or two steps down. They might have a secret to that. Ask for help. I tell people asking for help is one of my favorite things. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. Whoever you're asking might be feeling like, oh, this person is weak. It's not. You get to ask, and you know the worst they can do is, no, I can't help you. If they can help you, you learn and you move on. So be a leader who truly can ask for help and don't feel like, oh, I have to know everything or I have to fake it till I make it. No, not in this time. It's already crisis mode now. So nobody wants anybody faking anything. We want transparencies. We want people who can truly say what is needed and who can support the move and the change of how we're doing business right now. I mean, we've been home for almost a month, and with working, I tell people work is still going on. Don't be fooled. This is not a vacation. If you take it as vacation, then you're losing out on what is happening right now. It's a time to build and to rebuild and to make new connections as leaders. What do you need to do? That's that do part. And I'm going to wrap up because I need to also hop on the IG Live to also connect with our audience there. There's the do part. We said that the U.S. Army, there's the be, there's now the do. Set a routine around your team. There has to be a routine. And that routine doesn't mean that you are going to be micromanaging, but you want to set a routine so it guides people. Because not everybody can self-lead. Not everybody knows what to do with time. Sometimes they need a little guidance. So give them guidance, but give them flexibility too. Don't make it like, oh, your lunch has to be 12 to 1. They're already working from home. Hello? Who says if I'm not hungry at 12 noon, I have to go eat? Don't be that rigid. Use common sense as you engage with your people. Then you want to lead. Say, what do you need to do? Lead. Leaders lead. That means you are fearless. You are respectful, but you will be fearless to execute on information that everybody needs to know. Remember now, you're representing an entity. Even if it's your own business, you're representing an entity. You're not just that one-man show. You're representing the people you are serving. So be ready to lead, and you lead through adversity. It could be good days and bad days, good news and bad news. Just lead. And if you have your emotional intelligence hat on, you might be able to get across better and easier so that nobody thinks that you're just not caring, because hot news that's so hard to break. I remember when I was in corporate America, it's always so hard for me to get people fired because it's hard. didn't understand it. But during my training, they would tell you, document everything, document everything. So by the time you get maybe an associate that's quite troublesome and not getting it, and you know if you don't get rid of them, you might be the one that will be gotten rid of. You pull up your file and you begin to look at those notes. It's still always very hard, but it takes learning. We talked about mindset and all of that. So this is what we need to do right now. Rather than just writing somebody off, set a parameters, let them know what is expected. Fill the gaps. There's some gaps that will show up that you didn't expect. Fill in. And once you fill in, see who you can delegate to help you so you're not overwhelmed. Because I'm not saying as leaders, keep adding to your plate. A good leader delegates. A good leader, all they do is delegate and let people thrive and blossom. And sometimes they'll make mistakes, so what? Let's move on, and then that means we won't do it again. But it helps them to grow. When people make mistakes and you've given them the latitude to do something, they have a remorse for it. They would never want it to happen again. So don't be afraid to let people just fly and try whatever they need to try. And if they do it wrong, let them know with love why and how it can be done better. So you all are growing together. Nobody knows everything. Don't be complacent. Don't stay in one place and think, I'm going to be complacent. No, complacency is not going to work. You got to demystify the way of doing business. You just have to make things, you have to believe that things are possible, because if you do not, you're going to be worried and afraid, and you'll be hearing some news. Fake news are all over the place. Everybody's trying to be a newsmaker now, and sometimes you just need to shut off your TV. You need to shut off some gadgets that maybe bring you bad news. I know some things that bring me bad news, and watch the TV. I don't even bother. I just wait and hear what people are saying and follow. And some social media stuff that will bring you bad news, you don't even open it. So you have control over that. That's that energy and mindset we talked about. If you've missed any of our series, please go back to our series on this Remy Speaks. We have them all posted there. Go there. If you have questions, ask us of the questions. Observe. That's another thing. You have to observe. Your team must be on your watch, meaning you have to inspect what you expect. You cannot just assume that when you have given instructions and orders or deadlines that it's just going to happen like that. It's probably not going to happen like that, because human beings, being who we are, life might show up one day that throws us off our schedule. And you, the supervisor, might have a deadline for your boss and your boss's boss. So my not showing up today can mess you up. So you got to stay on course in a nice way, not micromanaging. Don't call them every minute or text them, or don't let them breathe. Use your discretion. You know what I mean, leaders. Let them know that you're still watching in a nice way, checking up, and then just say, how you doing? Just checking on you. Hope you're staying safe. When your boss calls you, immediately of course they want to know how you're feeling, but they also want to know, are you in tune with the work? They won't say that. I'm just checking on you. Yes, do that. Check on them. People want to be checked on now. You might want to switch things around. Sometimes you might call at different times. Or be open to ideas. Ask them, what do they think should be working now? Thanks for joining, everyone. What should be working now? What can we do differently? Ask them. People like to contribute to things. We all take it the other way as leaders. We think that, because something is happening, hello, Brother Tucker. We assume that because people are busy or they're buried in what you ask them to do, that they don't want to contribute. No, that's not it. But sometimes people don't want to be too forward. They want to be able to not step on toes. So give them the latitude, give them the ability that you're leaning on their intellect, you're leaning on their ideas, their ideologies, and all of those stuff. So immediately you say that, you can see them blossoming, because now they're not worried that they're going to hurt you, or you're going to think you're trying to take that they're trying to take your job. Now you've given them the permission, and guess what? You've just given yourself peace of mind. That's what that means. Because all of those people are going to be trying to prove themselves to ensure that they show up and that you're happy. Be on your feet. This is the time as leaders. The crises are there. You got to be on your feet. You've got to be on your toes all the time so you can be proactive, not reactive. I think with the whole unfolding of what's happening in the world, I'm not a world leader. I think there's some reactiveness that came, and look at what we're paying now. So you're going to be proactive and be on your feet. This is not the time to sit back and say, I'm relaxing. No relaxing, no chillaxing. It's crunch time. This is work time. They're not saying go home and stay home and be sleeping, eating. This is time to really get to the drawing board as a leader and keep making things happen and keep enhancing your employees so that they can feel relevant to the corporation, that they would even be more loyal to you now than ever. So remember that. It's your job to see things differently. You can see things differently. Empower yourself to think out of the box. That's the good old analogy that we used at Bank of America. Think out of the box. And when you give yourself the ability to think out of the box and have that freedom, and we used to have what we call freedom to act, you give yourself the permission to have freedom to act. That means whatever action you take, you're responsible for it. And guess what? Before you take such actions, when your leader gives you freedom to act initiative, you're going to think it through because you know the buck stops at your desk. So as leaders, let's empower our subordinates. Let them also know that business is going on right now. Business in crisis might not entirely be a bad thing. And that's how I'm going to close. I know that there are other things. It might not be a bad thing. The whole world is at a reset right now. And you and I are part of the whole world. So what we need to do right now is to ensure that we do not sit in that gloomy, sad mode. If any leader is feeling that way, they need to get off that mindset. They need to watch some of the series of the videos that we did, because this is the time for leaders to rise and to connect with other leaders and to see how you can make possibilities endless and make all impossibilities possible. This is the prime time for strategic collaboration and validation. My favorite thing, the relationship currency power has to rise in all of us as leaders. This is the time to pull that relationship currency out and let those who you know that matter help to make things matter, that concerns growth and maybe a new idea that you have. People are waiting. Be that one that will initiate change, that will initiate new ideas. We also say right now, leaders have to reassure their staff. Your team has to be reassured over and over to know that yes, things are not looking great right now, but it will be okay. Things will be okay. And give them what's going on so they know exactly what it is. It would encourage their loyalty with you, because now they know that you know they're wondering and worrying about what's going to happen. But you are based on the information that's facts now. Don't make up stories. Do not. Say what you know. If you don't know, don't say. If you have things that you can say to give people reassurance, go ahead and do it. If you don't, keep finding ways to encourage them without committing to what you can do, because that can be more catastrophic than you can imagine. Again, I'm going to close because I need to hop on IG Live. I know for sure that leaders right now, things are not as easy as we want it to be. But I'm challenging all of us, if we wear our emotional intelligence hard, if we wear our collaborative and our strategic thinking faculty right now, we will overcome and we will make impact. As a matter of fact, businesses will still consummate growth and sales if we can just accept. We talked about that in several series. Go back and watch our series, accepting and responding. We talked about that before now. If you've gone through all of that phase, by now you will see the reality and you'll be ready to take the ball and run with it. Thank you all very much for joining us from all over the world. I'm so excited to see every one of you. Thank you so much. Blessings. Be safe. Wash your hands. Practice social distancing. And God bless you. Bye. Join us on IG Live. Thank you.